So guys, we have two previous panels actually discussed the end of crypto winter. Then we have the panel discussing the present. So I think we should consider on crypto summer, on future. Let's discuss the way how this will crypto world, blockchain, what will look like in 10 years, 5 years from now. So let's start from the very, very short introduction and everyone, and then I will ask precise question about that. So please.
Hello everyone, my name is Dotan Romini. I'm here with the London Stock Exchange.
Hi everyone, my name is Tone Vays. I'm a YouTuber, former Wall Street, and try to explain Bitcoin and blockchain.
Hi everyone, my name is Yakub Rahimov. I'm from Seven Markets Group, a marketing expert and former trader.
Hi, my name is Dr. Marwan Al-Zarouni. I have two hats actually, a government hat with Dubai Electronic Security Center, as well as CEO of the Dubai Blockchain Center.
Hi, my name is Ivan Balanikian. I'm from S-Block, so I currently focus on digital securities and tokenization.
And my name is Alexander Borodich. I'm the venture investor who accidentally came to the blockchain sphere. It was the previous session. So, okay, guys, what's your vision? What will be the next big thing in the blockchain world, if it will be?
I mean, so I can talk a little bit about the subject from our perspective. I mean, you know, obviously at the London Stock Exchange we have a deep interest in capital formation and supporting businesses in raising finance through capital raising. And I think through the last sort of 12 to 24 months, as we've seen the transition from the rise and fall of the ICO space to renewed interest in tokenization of assets in the form of security tokens, etc. To us, we've started to explore some of the themes around where the value is that underpins these things and how it can hopefully provide some form of democratization of access to capital, looking more so at the kind of small to medium size sort of enterprise space. And I think some of the exploration that we've started to do and really look into this space has been really targeted around issuance, and then obviously how do you fill in the gaps on the kind of
tokenization of digital assets.
Yes, exactly. Okay. And securities, and how to fill in the gaps.
Got your answer. Done.
I continue to focus on Bitcoin. That's been the innovation of the current century, and that will continue to be that. I don't think crowdfunding is going to make that much of a difference. I mean, what, 98, 99% of all companies fail, so does it really matter if the crowd is funding them or VCs? That's not going to change. I don't really care about the tokenized assets. Our assets are already tokenized, right? You don't have stock certificates, they're digital assets. Pretty much everything is almost tokenized unless your country's database it can't keep up. And the question is it going to be decentralized? And I don't think so. To me, all of these other projects, they claim to have some elements of decentralization, but I don't believe that they do. And eventually, a lot of this stuff is going to move on to Bitcoin. Liquid sidechain of Bitcoin will probably take all the business off of Ethereum. People will be launching their STOs there, but an STO is still a centralized token. You just got to make sure you put it on the right structure, and I don't think anything else other than Bitcoin is technologically secure.
When we are talking of the blockchain, we are generally supposed to speak about the currency or cryptocurrency and the technology itself. So I'm going to answer your question in two ways. When it comes to the technology, we need to have blockchain 3.0, which someone actually mentioned briefly about it. Currently, we have Ethereum blockchain, we have the Bitcoin, and et cetera, blockchain. When I own my Bitcoin, you cannot verify it if you are owning, on an Ethereum or Ether whatsoever, right? So we got to be able to have a technology that communicates to each other. That's going to be very essential for us to have a universal blockchain, basically, we are talking of. Now, when it comes to that technology, we can have many other elements inside, STOs, IEOs, or whatsoever. Talking of the ICOs, by the way, in fact, although everyone is talking about ICOs were a bad thing, if we consider this statistics, they have done a much better job than traditional startups because there are more startups traditionally failing than ICOs have failed. So if someone is telling me that ICOs did a very bad job, I would like to ask them just to go any kind of chamber of commerce, look at the statistics in there for traditional startups. Now, very final point, I know we have very limited time, is the fact that decentralization. Any other asset class that is there, except Bitcoin, is not decentralized. So if someone comes and tells me, you know, Ethereum is decentralized, it's not. If Vitalik comes and says something tomorrow, it affects Ethereum. And I'm open for arguments with anyone. But who owns Bitcoin? And don't tell me there is someone claiming and suing someone over there.
Please do not start. Tom has an answer, but please do not start this way.
I think we're focusing on the wrong thing here. I think nobody here in this room will be able to answer what's going to happen in the next 10 years. I think it's going to be the generation that comes after us, not necessarily a generation, could be the 15-year-olds, the 13-year-olds that are we're not exposed to the traditional financial system. Bitcoin is their reality. This is the only thing they see when they actually learn about entrepreneurship and tokenization. We have a legacy. We always think about the legacy and how to build upon that. That's the wrong way to think about it. I think the young generation, when we actually train them, educate them about this potential of this cryptocurrency space and blockchain technology, this will be their norm, that they can actually come up then with the ideas that will change the future.
My personal opinion is I also would like to add that I see the future in tokenization space, but in like in fully legal compliant way, because like it should be compliant. And, I believe that the next decade, at least like 7–10% of all this tradable securities will be tokenized. So actually, people should have a place where to manage them. Actually, yeah. So and what we built, so this is like what we call it, a gateway to personal financial internet, where you can manage all your assets. So I believe that in the future, I mean, I'm not a fan of ideas of tokenization of air and some commodities, but I personally believe that common stock of the companies will be tokenized because it's much more easier just to make all the accountants and payment operations. So like I believe that tokenization of at least the common stock of the companies will be of the future, and like tradable securities as well.
Can I say something on the tokenization side? Because I've been hearing it so much on stage. Everyone wants to talk about the assets that are going to be tokenized, but on what database are they going to sit? Right now, you have Apple stock, you have other stock. They're sitting on a centralized database of the New York Stock Exchange or the NASDAQ, right? It's so simple to say, oh, I'm just going to tokenize my stock of my company on top of Ethereum, a system where nobody can almost build a node. Another CryptoKitties makes Ethereum unusable. Who's responsible for when your stock doesn't move? Plus, you have to pay to move it in the currency of Ethereum, which makes no economic sense. If paying in the currency of a company made sense, Amazon would be charging us an Amazon stock. Netflix would be charging us a Netflix stock. You have a volatile currency that's used to transfer the asset on their database. The whole concept, to me, is just silly. You're going to outsource to a decentralized system, transfer of something of value? And what, like a Bitcoin, I can lose my Bitcoin. What happens if I lose my Apple stock? You don't want that. Most of these assets, you don't want to tokenize them in a decentralized way. You get all the disadvantages, no advantages.
Like me personally, I believe only in private blockchains, because like I spent a lot of communication with the enterprises, and nobody wants to use the public chains. So I mean, for example, if we build in a platform for tokenization, so it's like a private blockchain. In case if something go wrong, so the client will come to me and ask me, where's my securities? In case if something go wrong, for example, on Ethereum, so whom you will come? So you can call Vitalik. I mean, there is no customer center in Ethereum, so I mean...
You can always roll back.
I mean, yeah, so we have, for example, we have like our own like 10 nodes, so, and we manage our 10 nodes, so we can give one of the nodes to the lawyer, for example. But in Ethereum, I think it's impossible. I mean, I believe in the private blockchains, but in like compliant way. So this is how we can be responsible.
Things go wrong everywhere, but usually there's people that are responsible for fixing those things. When something goes wrong, when you ICO'd and you created this decentralized project, when something goes wrong, who's responsible for fixing it? In Bitcoin, it's been because the Bitcoin is so vital that there are so many people that continue to volunteer to fix it. But if you look at Ethereum, it faces competition now. from Cardano, from other, EOS is out, Cardano is out, Tron is out, something else is going to come out tomorrow, plus Bitcoin itself has the liquid sidechain that's going to compete with it. And everyone has to be on the same database. Everyone has to be on the same network, and that's not going to happen. Like, we can't even all use the same messenger right now.
But aren't you speaking the same thing as we need blockchain 3.0?
Bitcoin 3.0 from Tone.
I have a very clear definition of blockchain. What did Satoshi invent? He solved the double spending problem in computers by being able to send a digital message and lose possession of that message. He did it by having this mining network and this separating power between nodes, miners, developers, so no one is in control. That's the innovation. If your blockchain doesn't have proof of work, I'm sorry, it's a database. It's not a blockchain.
I suppose taking a step back, though, from a technological perspective, I mean, Byzantine fault tolerance is, a widely understood concept, and there are many ways in which you can solve that problem. Blockchain is obviously one. The abstraction of blockchain is obviously distributed ledger technology. And there are many variations in which you can, try to attack that problem from a technology perspective.
Okay, let's get back to the topic. What might be done or should be done in the legislation, in the technology, for us, for each of you, to call this as a crypto summer, to create those feelings that actually, if it will happen, you will definitely feel that we are in summertime, we are in a uprising trend. What should be done?
I think, in my opinion, it's ecosystem creation. So we are not doing
education.
Exactly. And not only education. I'll tell you a very small example. In Dubai, everyone was fearing blockchain, and nobody wanted to actually implement it, and they wanted to do a wait and see. As soon as people got their hands on just a wallet and started, just a simple transaction, sending money from one person to another, they saw practically how the power is in that. And that's how most of the government departments got convinced that, oh, wow, this is actually revolutionary. Like you mentioned, exchange of value. This is the biggest, actually, revolution that's happening. It's not the smart contracts, and it's not the notarization service, because you can do those with other means, programs, But the value exchange is where the innovation is, and the ecosystem is.
So we should educate everyone that it's possible.
So
we are not alone. We are not like a.
You should enable, right? Always, it's all about enablement. You enable, you give them the tools, you give the young generation the tools, and you'll be impressed with what they come up with. And most of the use cases in Dubai are all done by young people.
It's not only in Dubai, it's everywhere.
Yes, I know, but I come from Dubai, and I run the blockchain center there, and most of the innovation that we've seen, even on the government level, where we go wow with the wow moments and unicorns, are always younger people. It's not us. It's never been us.
Anyone else?
I think that responsibility also one of the main things, because we should be really very responsible because to the people who invest, especially in the companies. Also regulation, but we can change it, so we can just wait, I think. Also education, this is one of the main things, education and responsibility for me. And also the methodology, because everybody knows how to do IPO, but nobody knows how to
use STO, IPO,
I mean, everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, there is a standard methodology how to do IPO, but there is no methodology how to do STO. Everybody thinks that they do STO, but I think it's not.
Again, we're thinking about it the wrong way. You're thinking about traditional markets and how to convert that to digitization. It's not the right way to think about it.
One of the key issues about all of these ICOs, STOs, whatever crowdfunding ways of doing things is that regulation, tomorrow SEC comes and says something. The day after FCA says something or ECB says something, and we are all ending up in a weird kind of limbo that nobody knows what to do. However, nobody is really coming together. I've tried from 2013 till now multiple times to speak to some of the thought leaders. To come together, you're saying you come from the US, yeah? You know the SEC's guidelines, what they are looking for. Let's take SEC's bits and pieces, the good practices. We take FCAs, I don't know, we take MSAs, etc., and create one decentralized common framework that kind of speaks to all of it. Of course, it will not be 100% matching to everyone, but it would be somewhere getting there. This is very important.
I just want to say something real quick. I don't really believe in a decentralized framework. I know I got 5 seconds. To me, a blockchain, Bitcoin blockchain, has two very key properties. It's unconfiscatable digital value and censorship-resistant value transfer. And in order to incentivize it, it has a finite supply. If your project doesn't need unconfiscatability and censorship-resistant transfer, you should not be using a blockchain. Just use a more efficient database.
But that's the key word. If you are just using blockchain for the sake of database, it's not a technology for you to use. There are so many more feasible databases to use with a little bit of encryption in it, and then you would be better off with, being able to recover just in case something goes wrong.
Blockchain 3.0, education, tokenization of assets, Bitcoin. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well, Bitcoin is Bitcoin, but...
Money, gaming, and blockchain technology. Friction between iGaming and payment processors has always existed. But will this come to an end with today's blockchain solutions?